to the Lori Daybell case, which is underway in Phoenix. She is, of course, accused in the conspiracy to murder her third husband, Charles Vallow. And the wrinkle there, a lot of people are like, who cares? I'm over her. But she's representing herself in this case, which leads to some bizarre moments where she's cross-examining her brother, where she's cross-examining Kay Woodcock. It reminds me of remember that case? It was a shooting case in the subway. Colin, help me. It was New York subway. He went in, it was the subway shooter,
yeah, I know. I can't remember his last name.
Colin Ferguson.
Right. Ferguson, right.
Colin Ferguson.
Colin Ferguson, right.
He's talking to a witness. And can you tell me what happened next? That's when you shot me. I mean, that was the kind of testimony that you shot me. And then there was a more recent case where a guy was accused of raping his ex-wife and kidnapping her. Do you remember that one? I've blown all those names out of my memory, but I remember that part of the testimony where, he's asking what happened next. You tied me down on the bed and you raped me. I mean, that dynamic is bizarre. And you have that same thing here with Lori Daybell.
Yeah, her green sauce and her enchiladas, and she was upset with her. She was upset that no one seems to remember that she was a good cook. Okay.
Yeah, that is horrible. So I want to dip into just a couple. First, let's do, because I think this is just bizarre. This is, cross-examination of Lori Vallow / Lori Daybell's brother.
Not the killer brother, not Alex.
No. And I talked to him last night, and we're going to get into that a little bit. But
you talked to Alex? No, he's dead. You didn't talk.
No. I talked to Adam. And I can see that being a confusing point for a lot of folks, and I'm sure he's been, we talked about it. But anyway, this is just some of the cross-examination.
Seen each other in person?
Don't know.
When was the last time you saw me?
I don't recall.
Now listen to this, and I'll tell you what he told me last night.
So, has it been a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? 6 years, 7 years, 8 years?
Something.
I mean, and I said, it sounded to me like you were a little hesitant to help her in any way. And he said, and he told me it had been 6 years since he had seen her when he went into that courtroom. And so I wanted to find out what this whole thing was like.
Okay. So you have no idea?
Nope.
You have no idea when the last time you saw me in person?
I don't know the year or how many years it's been.
Okay, so did you see me at Colby's wedding in January 2018?
No, I was not there.
You didn't come to Colby's wedding?
No, I did not.
So did you see me sometime that year at my house?
Possibly.
Where Colby got married? That house?
I did see you at that house, yes.
At least one time?
Yes.
So possibly in 2018?
Yes.
And when was the last time we had any communications?
The last time I remember our communications was you and I were speaking in the kitchen when the family was over.
Okay, so you think that was that time in 2018?
I think so.
Okay. And were we eating my green chili chicken enchiladas?
Do not remember that.
Get over that dish. It's not memorable.
Nope.
Is that what I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10 times a year?
I don't remember that.
Okay. And when was the last time that we had a phone call or text message?
I have no idea.
Could it possibly be around that exact same time?
Possibly.
Okay. So that was possibly in early 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a peanut gallery. Tubi doesn't like her.
Is there a dog in the courtroom?
Who do you think initiated the final communication in our relationship?
Who concluded it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So right now it's 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And so we haven't spoken in about 8 years? Would that be correct?
Probably 7 or 8 years.
Okay. So would you say up until that point that how often would we communicate before that?
Before what?
Before 2018?
Probably on a regular basis. Once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month.
Like a call or a text message?
Yes.
Just keeping in touch?
Yes.
You know of us living in Hawaii, and you were living in Kansas at the time?
Yes.
And in your career, you lived in lots of different places, is that correct?
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Dallas,
Yes.
New York,
Yes.
Wichita,
Yes.
Sacramento.
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
Others.
This is where the prosecution just
And I
lets her
was in
ramble.
Texas,
Yes.
Arizona.
Yes.
This is all
Hawaii.
ridiculously
Yes.
irrelevant.
So would you say that we were not physically close during the past 20 years?
Yes, I would say that.
So our communication would be solely family get-togethers, occasional text messages. Is that correct?
And phone calls, yes.
Okay.
Judge is wishing he's anyplace else
So,
but
Mr.
there.
Cox, did you
Yeah,
see
no doubt.
or hear or personally witness me conspire with my brother Alex Cox to murder my husband Charles Vallow?
Repeat that again?
Okay. Did you see with your eyes or hear with your ears or personally witness me conspire with my brother Alex Cox to murder my husband Charles Vallow?
No.
Thank you. No more questions.
All right, that is the one that
Well-
she's worked on so hard. for
That's all
so
she had to
long.
do, right?
That was a big one, and we're
It's
going to
actually not a bad. It's actually not a bad examination. You know, what is she going to say?
Well, she
on it.
bookended 2 or 3 questions with a bunch of ridiculousness that didn't matter. You know, where he worked and going on and on. Don't you remember she's hung up on this recipe. So a couple of things I asked him about. Number one was, how was that food? I didn't ask him that. I said, you know, are you going to show up for, you know, any more of the trial? Because he now lives in the Phoenix area, or the verdict. He said, no, I don't want anything to do with it. I only went because I had to. And he's done. He's done with her, and had been from that day in the kitchen. They didn't reference what happened, but in that day, he's in the kitchen at the house now, I guess, occupied by the newlywed Colby, and she says to him, "I am almost 100% transitioned to," and that doesn't mean what it may mean these days. I'm almost 100% transitioned into. And he described it as like immortality. I'm almost transitioned there. And he, at that point, decided, you're a nut job. And he, you know, kind of distanced himself. You know, this is 2018, long before what was to happen happened. And for him, it didn't take much. And so I asked him, I said, why do you think it was that Alex, your brother, who was believed to have been the real murderer, all of these cases are conspiracy to commit using Alex. Why do you think he was sucked in, you know, by them and this pattern? And he said he just felt like they built him up, that he was a more insecure person. They built him up, that they told him what a great guy he was and how helpful he was, and made him feel good about himself. Now, it's hard to believe somebody would feel so good about themselves that they would kill others for you so you can continue to feel good about yourself. But that's effectively what he said was happening with his own brher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, can you imagine that knowing that your sister and your brother did this and these things that she's been convicted of? She hasn't been convicted of this crime, but in terms of the ones she has already been convicted, it's truly horrifying, Michael.
Yeah.
And
you know, there's one more crime coming up that has yet to be tried, and I asked him about that. He's not going to testify in that case, at least as far as he knows, and that's the case involving Boudreaux, the cousin His first name was
Brandon.
Brandon Boudreaux. Thank you. And he said, right after what allegedly happened was somebody shot at him. Somebody in a gray Jeep. So happens that Alex had a gray Jeep at her about that time, and he was missed, but clearly shot at. He picks up the phone and he calls Adam, and he's freaking out. It's like somebody just shot at me. And they kind of walked through what happened. What did you see? What did you not see? And that's where it was learned that it was somebody, gray Jeep. That's it. That's really all they knew. But you put that together with all the other information about Alex, and it starts to look pretty clear. That case is going to be the hardest one to prove, I think.
Yeah. But how is he doing after all these years, knowing, I mean, obviously he separated himself from his sister, knowing that this whole family dynamic was out there and what happened to these kids?
I get the sense he wants to be as far away from it and put it behind him as quickly as he can. He's become quite the pickleball professional.
I heard that.
He became this pickleball coach, organizer, and that keeps him pretty busy and keeps his mind off heavier, weightier things.